I forgot to unmute myself. That's awesome. Hey guys, I'm Ray and we are stream blacksmithing. Sorry about starting the stream muted. There's always a few little bugs here and there when I get started after doing a conference stream. Although it's usually more technical bugs. Hey Shelly. No, I forgot to unmute myself. So yeah, on Saturday we were in Indiana and we were hanging out with a whole bunch of blacksmiths. We were live, doing a little bit of shopping, learning some stuff from the demo people, or the demonstrators, and it was super fun. I had a blast. We had started using some differenty sort of things. I liked the Indiana broadcast. Good. I'm glad that you liked it. I enjoy them as well. Like when we go out to different locations and hang out with blacksmiths and talk to people, do some interviews and stuff. So yeah, it was a blast. We were using some new technology, so a new setup. So it was a little bit shaky in some places, but overall, I think that the stream turned out a lot better than some of our previous on-location streams. So I think I'm pretty happy with using the laptop and OBS and being able to use a little bit more of our controls and things like that. So I'm super excited to try it again in the fall. But between now and in the fall, we are going to be hanging out here in my shop making some amazing stuff. So when we left off exactly 1 week ago today, we were working on making a shovel. So I have the handle and I have the shovel bit. We got to do a little bit of shaping on here to kind of turn this into a trowel shape. We also need to punch another hole in here. We've got 2 holes already in the handle. We need 1 more on this one, so that we can rivet it together. We have an ad coming up in any moment now, so there is a few variations that I want to talk about with this trowel, and then we will get to work. So ordinarily we would be starting the forge up about now, but we're gonna do a little bit of a fun experiment. See if I learned what I should be doing at Indy, if I learned anything. Today it is super duper warm. We are in the 90s already without the forge going. So I've got the garage door open, I've got this door open, I've got the window cracked, and I've got the big fan going. So fingers crossed we can stay hydrated. What's the next thing I'm looking for? I'm looking for my headphones. I always have crazy technical difficulties anytime I come home. Man, that's a lot louder than I thought it was. Okay, where are my headphones? There they are. Headphones. These will help me hear. Stick those over there for now. I don't want my ears to sweat too badly right off the bat. All right, we are back. All right, so the butler was taking a look at, or I was showing the butler our trowel and what we've done. And he said that the handle would be way too long if I put the wood on the back, right? So he thinks I should just cut this off or turn it into a loop and use this part as the handle. So I think that I want you guys' advice. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should still put the wood on here? And it would be like this? Or is that too long for a trowel? That looks pretty long for the trowel. Do you think I should cut this off or loop it? I think if I'm more interested in looping this than cutting it off. But what do you guys think? I'll give you some time to give me your opinions. And we'll do a little bit of a little fun experiment here. So one of the things that we did on Saturday was we learned a little bit about flint strikers. And the gentleman who was helping me out and teaching me about them was selling them. And so he gave me one for the stream. So here's my flint and here's my striker. And so apparently what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to kind of like find a sharp bit of the rock and kind of, oh, there's a spark. There's a couple right there. And that you're supposed to be able to light a fire with this. And so there's some charcoal cloth. So I'm wondering if maybe I can set one of these guys on fire. So I'm not going to light our forge with it because with all of the airflow that's going on in the shop right now, I don't want it to blow away and start fires other places. But I do kind of want to try it, see if we can't set one of these guys on fire. So I'll put this over here. And I think we'll put these guys over here. We're going to set up, whoops, like I said, it's blowing all over the place. So I don't, like I said, I don't really want to start the forge with this, but we're going to do a little bit of a test to see if I can set one of these on fire, to see if I could light my forge this way, or if I'm just inept. So I'm going to move the camera a little bit, like the close-up cam, so we can kind of take a look at this and see how good I can do. Let's see, guys, let's see. All right, so I guess what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to take one of these little cloths and stick it down like so. And we're supposed to use this rock and this little, like, flint striker and see if we can't light this guy. Well, I'm getting some sparks. Maybe if I try right here. I think I'm being too violent with it. Oh, I'm getting sparks. They're just not. Let's try this. Well, maybe if I put it down here. Well, I'm getting some sparks. You can definitely see the sparks. I'm just not very good at aiming them, it seems. Oh, no. All right, well, I'll put this away for a little bit, and we're going to practice this for a little bit. See if I can't do this over the next couple of days, or I guess streams. So put this away for now, and we'll try it again on Friday. What do you guys think? I'm gonna learn to do this, guys. I'm gonna learn to do this. All right. We're gonna cheat now. Okay. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna use the torch to light the forge because I want to get it done at a reasonable pace. There we go. I'm really good at using the striker, right? Okay. Let's turn on the big forge. Because the first thing that I want to do today is I want to kind of shape and I want to put that last hole in here, and I also want to shape this guy. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have the big forge going. Or I'm going to light it again. There's a lot of air moving in here, and so it's a little bit hard to keep it lit at first until it starts getting really hot. Then it self-propagates. All right. Hopefully it'll stay lit this time. So I'm gonna put these guys on because it is super, super loud in here. We've got both the industrial fan and the forge is pretty loud too. All right. So I need this guy as well because I put a center punch in the trowel blade, but I don't know that I can find it now. So we might have to do that again. So I'll put this here so we can kind of make it work. And then we'll punch that hole. I also have this lovely piece of steel that we're going to turn into rivets. This is the same piece of steel that we made our chain links out of on, what was it, Monday of last week? Something like that. Maybe it was Friday of the week before. I don't remember. Anyway, so we are going to cut some pieces off of this and turn them into rivets so that we can kind of put our trowel together, like the blade and the handle. Eventually what I want to do is I want to figure out what we're going to do with this. If we are going to add the wood handle or if we're just going to round it out and then make a loop so we can hang our trowel on like the wall. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. You know, the handle's pretty darn long if I put the wood on there too. So we'll have to make a knife sometime in the future. That way I can show you guys the rat tail tang. All right, I think we're hot enough now that I can turn up the forge a little bit without fearing that it's going to go out. And I want this one because this is my center punch. We're going to start with that. So today it is in the 90s Fahrenheit, so that is pretty darn warm. That's without the forge going. So as the forge continues to pump out heat, it is going to rise in temperature. We're going to hit over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's like close to 40 some degrees Celsius, I believe. I think 32 degrees Celsius is in the 80s somewhere. So yeah, we're going to hit in the 40s Celsius, I believe. So it's pretty darn warm. So I'm planning on drinking the water that I've got there. Then we'll probably start by drinking some Gatorade just to keep my electrolytes up because I'm doing a lot of sweating today. Alrighty. I'm hoping that the forge will decide it's going to stay on. It was a little bit wavery there. So I had so much fun this weekend in Indiana. I actually got to participate in the Bloom Steel smelt. We got there a little bit too late to help build the kiln, but I was there in time to start working on heating up the iron and the coal. So I did a couple rounds where I was loading up the charges, and I got to put a whole bunch of coal in, or I guess charcoal, because it was homemade charcoal, into the furnace, and I also got a chance to put in some of the iron. So some of the iron that was made, I actually had a hand in helping, and I was super excited about that. That was an amazing experience, and it's just really cool. I went to school for casting metal, so I have casted all kinds of different metals. I've casted aluminum, bronze, sterling silver. We've done some brass, like red brass. And I did a little bit of melting of gold when I worked at the jewelry store. I didn't do any casting because we sent our casting out to a company that would do that for us, but I did get to melt a little bit here and there, and that was really cool. So I'm really excited to have been able to kind of help out with that Bloom Steel smelt. I've also done some casting with pure iron, or I guess cast iron, because there's some impurities in it, and that is such an amazing and fun thing to do. We don't get to do that a lot here because I stream solo most of the time, and casting is one of those things that you have to do with a group. It is definitely a group activity. I think that the smaller scale stuff, you can kind of do that like with a couple of people. You probably want 2 people, but anything bigger than a flask, about yay big, and you really want a group of like 3 to 5, depending on the size, because it's a lot of work. It's very heavy, and you really have to monitor it. So you've got to be a little bit on the careful side. So it's just so amazing every time I get to go and do a pour. It's one of my favorite things to do outside of blacksmithing, and so it was great having a chance to just participate again for once. So I'm super excited about that. There's another chance that we might be able to get to see an iron pour in the fall. I'm hoping that we can get out to Repair Days in Memphis, Tennessee. That's usually one of the last, it's somewhere in September, October every year. It kind of like moves around a little bit. So they do the Metals Museum does their annual fundraiser, and for that fundraiser, the community brings in broken metal objects, and the artists from all across the United States come in and they donate their time to repair the community objects for free, and then all of the proceeds from that go to funding the Metals Museum and all of their programs throughout the year. So they usually have 2 iron pours a year, and that during the Repair Days is one, because anytime they need to pour something for a broken piece of metal, they'll do that. So it is really exciting, and I'm hoping that we get to participate, or I guess at least watch it this year. I'm hoping that we get to go out. All right. It's looking like I haven't pushed the steel in quite far enough. It's starting to get a little bit warm on the end, but I need to push it back a little bit further so we get more spread out heat. So I got to talk to a couple of the demonstrators, and that was super exciting. So I have several interviews that I have left to edit, and I will be posting those once a week on Wednesdays, as I normally do. So this week's video that came out today at 10 a.m. is an interview with one of the artists from the AACB conference that I went to like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that was in Tennessee. So that's Terry. I can't remember his last name, but Terry. He was doing some amazing demos using nothing but a hammer, a forge, and an anvil. A couple of tools here and there, but a lot of it was hand forged. He makes all kinds of amazing tools and stuff like that. I watched him do a box joint for a set of pliers, and that is amazing to see. Very, very cool. One of these days, I'm gonna make myself a box jaw joint, and we'll see. We'll see how well that goes for me. Seen a couple of those at the conferences over the past couple of months, because we saw one happen at BAM as well. So I'm really excited to try one of those. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. It rained so hard on Saturday, and it was kind of interesting because we were under a tin roof pavilion, and so when it started raining, it just got louder and louder as each of the drops hit the tin ceiling. So it was super exciting. Kind of scary because it was like lightningy and thunderingy too, but it was good. All right. I'm going to pull the steel out of the forge, and we are going to mark where we want our hole. Right there. So it's right there. We're probably going to go a little bit up higher because that's going to be a little bit difficult. So we'll see what I can do there. I'm going to heat this back up. We'll see about poking that hole. So once we have completed this hole, what we're going to do next is we're going to start working on the handle. I think I'm going to round out the outs. Well, wait a second. I guess here's where I got to think about things. I think Okay, I think what's going to happen is once we finish this hole, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the angle grinder, which is behind the camera and the laptop and setup. We are going to cut in our rounded point for the trowel, and then we're going to heat it back up again, and we are going to curve that. So I think that's probably going to be best, or at least we're going to start curving it. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. It might be easier to rivet it while it's flat. I haven't decided. Well, not that I haven't decided. There is a right and a wrong answer to that one, but I have to think it through to figure out what the best one is. Because I need to use the big forge to curve the trowel, because the blade will not fit in the mailbox, right? But I want to use the mailbox for rounding out the end of the handle, and it would also be a good thing to use for the rivets themselves, because the rivets will get a lot hotter a lot quicker in the mailbox. So I only want to change which forge we're using once this stream, so I have to think about the order of how I want to do this so that it's most efficient. So like I said, I only have to change forges one time. We shall see. I gotta think about this. See if I can even get this out of here. But you know what? I need to change cameras anyway. There we go. There we go. Oh. All right, I think we're all right. We've got a little bit of a ghosting in there. You can kind of see it right there, so that's where that hole is going to come out. So we'll do our best. Hey, Mahalo, welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. I am going to change the camera angle. Not that we've had that many heats on this camera angle, just that, you know, it's just for a little bit of variety. So like I said, I am super excited to bring you all of our interviews that I did this weekend and some of the other interviews that I've done over the past 2 months. So I actually still have videos to edit from BAM, which is the Missouri Blacksmith Association. So right now, I have a lot of videos. I have 4 videos to edit from BAM. I have 3 videos to edit from the AACB, and then I have 4 videos to edit from the IBA, from IBA. So I'm in the process right now of editing the general video overview for the IBA conference that we did last weekend. So that will be coming out on Wednesday. And then I'm kind of going to mix up some of the artist interviews that I have left. I have 2 of those from BAM. I have another one artist interview from AACB, and then I have 2 artist interviews from the IBA conference. Hey Corwin, welcome to the stream. So I'm super duper excited, and I've got a lot of work coming out, a lot of work to edit. And then I also have 2 videos of stuff that we've done here on stream, because I've got the blacksmith friend tool, and I also have our chain links that I've got to edit. So I have an abundance of videos to edit, and I will get through those as soon as I possibly can. But I'm still a little bit nervous about adding another video to my weekly offerings. Right now I'm doing 5 shorts, 3 streams, and 1 edited video a week. I think that would be 5 shorts, 3 streams, and 2 edited videos. So I gotta decide if that's a thing I can keep up with. Because when I run out of conference videos, you know, it would be great if I did a conference video and a normal project video. But if I run out of the stream or the conference videos, what do I put there? I don't know. So I'll have to figure that one out. We'll see what I can add to my repertoire. Or if I can even get a video consistently out on time, like a second video. I work a lot on the stream and the YouTube, but I do have a little bit of like, ooh, shiny, you know? I get distracted. I have been so busy with school. I can imagine. School is getting out soon, though. Are you done for the year? Or are you doing summer school? See, I only did summer school 1 year, and that was the year that I did a public sculpture class and color on metal. So I had 2 classes over that same summer. The color on metal class was only 2 weeks. It was like 8-hour-long classes each day for 2 weeks. And then the large-scale public sculpture was an amazing class. That one was, I spent the rest of the summer working on that project. Summer school, I graduate next summer. Ooh, that is exciting. Super exciting. Hey, Blue Red, welcome to the stream. Oh, we're in the middle of an ad break, so that's probably a good thing that I've been talking, because now I don't have the metal out of the forge yet. So once that ad is done, I will pull the steel and we will start in earnest trying to put the hole in the blade. Is this my left glove? I found my left glove. That is awesome. Sometimes I lose them. The left glove is always the one that you lose the most, because when you're welding, you always want to have the left glove. The right glove is kind of optional. That's the one you hold the little torch with. It's always hotter with your left glove. Alrighty. We are back. Let's do this. Maybe we'll do this if I don't do something crazy with my glove. Oh, we're dropping tongs. That's all right, though. We can do that. We're a little bit skittery, skating the surface a little bit. That's why I'm being a little bit more careful. But I think now we've got a really good ghosting, so our next heat we should be able to do pretty easily without it skating. We've got like a little bit of a lip going. So the next thing, okay, before I put it back in there, I kind of want to make sure. Oh, it looks like it's doing pretty darn well. I think we should be able to rivet that relatively easily. That's awesome. I actually put it in there right. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, I've been talking about increasing my volume of videos on YouTube from 1 video to 2 videos. But I've also been kind of like trying to up it to, I guess it would be 3 videos at this point, because I would like to do a weekly what's happening, like a news program kind of thing about what's happening in blacksmithing. So it would be, we'd be talking about upcoming conferences, news things like what's going on with Habana, what's going on with steel prices and stuff like that. You know, if anybody's got any like gallery openings or deadlines for, you know, scholarships, things like that, or shows. So that one would be more for like working smiths, you know. But I'd like to be like the one-stop shop for people who are interested in the craft, people who are working in the craft, and people who, you know, would like to teach or, you know, have events going on. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how easily I can get those all together and working. If I could get the news program to be kind of turnkey in that I just, you know, do the dialogue bits, and I've got all of the like graphics and everything that I could just plug and play, that would make that one pretty easy. But I don't know. I've got to do a little. I'm learning how to make graphics in my editing software. I'm pretty excited about that. I learned how to, well, like forever, last year I learned how to put text and that sort of stuff as overlays on my videos. Well, now I'm learning how to add in like just like visual graphics. So like for this week's video, I added a little bit of a ghosting behind the labels that I put on the video because it's very light. So my white titles get lost in the backdrop. So I was able to kind of pop them out a little bit. So I'm super excited about that. And the IBA, why did I don't know. The IBA video, we shot all of it in what's called log. And I'm super excited about that because it retains more color data. So I'm going to be able to learn color correction. So I'm hoping that our production quality goes up really nicely. Maybe not for the streams themselves, but the videos, you know. I got to figure out a way to record in log, but not have it come through the stream in log. And that would be amazing because then I'd have all that lovely color data and we'd be able to do a lot more color correction. But then you guys wouldn't have to see the washed out log video. And that's probably a little bit confusing to some people. It's confusing to me, but I'm learning about it. All right, let's do another heat. Oh, you know what? I need a glove. So I don't have the extra heat. It's already warm enough in here. I don't need that much more heat. All right. But I'm always striving to upgrade the quality of our streams and our YouTube videos. Well, I've just lost a whole bunch of heat there. Man, it's still jumping. You know what? You know what? I don't know if I can pick that up this way. Oh my goodness. Ah, I got it. I picked it up, guys. Yes, subtle color is important. I watched a World War II movie where the Japanese Navy guys were wearing white uniforms and speaking Japanese. The subtitle translation was in white letters, so you could not read most of them. Yeah, so I'm trying real hard to like make it all pristine and be able to color grade everything and stuff. So I'm learning it slowly. Corbin says, how has your week been so far? Honestly, exhausting. So we got back from Indiana on Sunday, and I was so exhausted that I really didn't do anything. I guess technically we did do something. I went and I watched the He-Man movie, which I thought was really fun. I know I'm not really the demographic for He-Man, but I still thought it was an entertaining romp. So we did that, and that was it. I almost fell asleep in there, or in the theater. They got the big lounger chairs, you know, like the lazy boys, and I almost fell asleep. And then Monday, all we did was grocery shop because it was raining so hard. Like, it super rained on Monday. Tuesday, I spent editing all day. And learning how to color grade and learning how to do a little bit of the graphics. So that yesterday was the day that I learned how to do all of that, or you know, the intro kind of stuff, like you know, the basic 101 course on color grading and graphics that I was doing. So it's been super busy and tiring, and I am super excited to be out here doing the fun part of this job. So I saw, Corwin, that you got your mailbox in the mail. Have you fired it up yet, or have you not had time? Maybe this weekend. I was super excited to see it on on the Discord, because the mailbox is like one of my favorite tools in this shop. It not at first, like when I first bought it, I didn't really know what to do with it. But after I started really heavily relying on it, specifically in this stream, I fell in love more and more with it. It's such a great tool. My apron hole is being weird. All right, let's do another heat. I forgot to put on my gloves again, guys. I forgot to put on my gloves again. Let's do that real fast, and then I will scrape that piece of steel out of there. Out of the forge. Dropped it again, guys. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Ugh. I don't know, you probably can't see me doing this, but I dropped the piece of steel and... Oh, come on. Goodness gracious. There we go. Haha. We're going to heat this back up again. It looks like there's a little bit of a lip there, so I will probably turn this over and work from the back side so I can straighten it out a little. Okay, I dropped something and I don't know what it was, aside from the piece of steel. Hey, Bluesy! Welcome to the stream! Corbin says, not yet. Just got back from Atlanta yesterday. Got it set up. The needle valve knob got broken off in shipping, so I have to use a pair of vice grips to open it for now. But Gene's nephew is going to talk to him and have him send me another one. Ooh, sadness. So is it this valve right here? The one at the top? Yes. Okay. Yeah, that one is a little bit finicky. So I hope that you can get a new valve, or at least you can, you know, figure out like where to acquire a new one. I was lucky enough that I got the when I bought the mailbox, or I guess when it was bought for me, I got to hand drive it back to my place, so I didn't have to deal with shipping. There are other things that I've had to ship and they have not arrived pleasantly, but not that. That arrived really nicely. I am out of water already. All right. I'm going to grab a Gatorade real fast because it's going to be nice and cold and it just hit the spot. So I will be right back. Just give me a couple moments. Then we'll probably change the camera angle. And from there, we're going to continue. Whew. It's one of those things where I went into my kitchen inside my house and the AC, I got central air, so it's like really nice in there. And then I come out here and it's like, oppressive. Yeah, UPS and USPS material handler drivers aren't the greatest. I learned to try and overpack stuff. Yeah, sometimes you gotta do that. All right, let's move this camera and then we'll do another heat. I have a sibling who used to be a package handler for UPS. And they said that going down the belts and all of the sorting machines, that they were constantly bashing around everywhere. The packages. Sad but true. Yeah. It's also like a thankless job. You don't get paid quite very much, and it does a number on your body. So thank you to our package handlers for getting our packages to us. All right, let's do another heat. right, so I think a couple more heats and we'll have it. I think we're going to start working over on the Pritchel. So I know I just moved the camera, but I think I'm going to do it again. Because if we're going to start using the Pritchel hole, I want to center the camera on it. It's like the shortest little thing ever. Guys, the shortest angle ever. I guess not the shortest, but you know, one heat. Whew. Alrighty. So yeah, for those of you who are just joining us, I was showing off the handle and the blade of our trowel to the butler. And the butler said that, oh, I think that's what I dropped, the wooden part of the handle, or what I was going to make the wooden part of the handle. Yeah. So the butler mentioned that the handle would be like super duper long, and that what I should just do is thin this out, make a loop, and then just use the metal part as the handle for the trowel. So I'm starting to think that that might actually be the best thing to do. But if you guys would prefer seeing it the longer way, you know, let me know, and we can change direction. But I'm thinking that once we're done messing with the big forge, we are gonna round out this section here so that we can make a little bit of a loop and make it a little bit shorter. And I will do another like knife or a sword or something, and we'll use the rat tail tang for use with that handle. Or a handle like it, just so that you guys can see that process, but probably later on. We'll add it to the list. I'm kind of getting to this point where my list is long enough that I might just be able to do like roll a 20-sided die to pick what project's going to be next. But I think our next project after this one, the one that we're going to be starting on Friday, is actually going to be another set of tongs. We are going to be using more pieces of the coil springs that Corwin sent us, and we're going to make a set of wolf jaw tongs. So I want to make them out of that tool steel, the spring steel, so that we can draw it out really long and really thin, so that we can kind of lock the jaws together and get some nice thin ones, so that way we can use them to pick up little tiny pieces of steel. It's going to make it really easy for us to work on the brand that I have in store for us later on this month. And it's also going to help us a lot with our animals. So that's going to be our next couple projects, is a set of tongs, and then also a brand for America 250. It is the 250th birthday of the United States. So we're going to make a brand to celebrate. Okay, let's do another heat. Maybe I want that on that side. I think I want that on that side. All right, we've gone all the way through. That is exciting. Exciting, exciting. Okay. I didn't expect it to be that quickly done. Look at that. All right, we are going to put the drift the other direction through there. on both of these, I think, just so that we can kind of, there's a little bit of a lip going there, and I want to push that back a little bit. So that's going to be our next heat. Do. Rah. Man, I'm getting a lot better at punching holes, guys. I think that was 5 heats. We got a 2 heat on this guy. Super excited. That's actually quite a large improvement. When we were making the trivet, it took us like 2 days just to punch the holes in that. I mean, yes, there were a lot of holes, but you know, we're getting a lot better at punching holes. If only we could get a little bit better at making rivets. It just takes practice, guys. It just takes practice. You got to punch more holes to rivet things together than you put the rivets. You know what I mean? So, all right. So I think once we're finished with those hole punches, bringing them back so they're a little bit flatter, I think the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to remark the trowel bits, and we're going to cut the like little curved point on the end and make it look a little bit more like a trowel. So in order to do that, I guess I need the angle grinder and an extension cord. So we got our angle grinder, we got the extension cord. The next thing that we need besides those 2 things is we need a cutting disc. Because right now we've got a grinding disc on there. So yeah. So we've got a lot of really cool things that are going to be starting to happen here at Raised Smithy on both the Twitch and the YouTube front. I'm really happy, and I'm having a blast. So I'm so glad that you guys continue to support and both of the channels. So thank you guys for that. All right. Let's do another heat. Goodness gracious, guys. I have the new Ariana Grande song stuck in my head. Glenda herself. All right. Looks pretty good. Now we're going to kind of see about the holes, see how well they fit together. And ooh, they look pretty good together. Let me see if I can't turn this so you can see through them all the way and they're all nice and lined up. So I'm thinking we're going to grab our chalk, hold this like so. We're kind of putting a straight line vertically and then horizontally because that's how we're going to figure out where we need to cut this. It's got to be like a semicircle. Like so. So we're going to put that right there for the moment. Yeah, they look like they line up good. Awesome. Honestly, I wasn't positive that I was gonna line those up correctly because, you know. All right. So now we're gonna come over here. I don't know if I'm the one or if the butler is the one that coiled this. If it's the butler, then it's gonna be really nice. But if it was me, I'm not always the best at coiling it. Okay. Roar. Put that right there for the moment. The last thing I did with this guy is grind some fiberglass that I applied to the van. Oh, come on. Come on. You know you want to get out of here. There it goes. That is a much more effective way to get these off of here than my, what do you call it? My thingy. My multi-tool. My multi-tool. All right. So we've got an ad starting in about, well, actually any minute now. Any second now or whatever. So I'm going to start setting up this piece. So we're going to put this guy in the post vise. Because that's where we're going to grind it, or I guess cut it, at the post vise. Because it's the most convenient way to do this. And then I'm going to move the camera around. Much more to drink. See what's a good angle for this. That should be a good angle. And then once the ad is over, we're going to cut that. Very, very warm. All right. One other thing before I get too invested in this, we are going to grab my face mask. Alrighty, let's do this. We're gonna hit that like so. I don't think we're gonna hit like that. Let's see. Can we do this? Yes, we can. one, we're going to take a little bit of time to run that around through with the bench grinder to kind of shape it a little bit better. But right now, I think it's going to be all right for the moment. It's all right for now. You can kind of see what shape it is. What shape it is. It's not perfect, but it's all right. Okay. So I think the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to curve this, probably. So I'm going to heat this back up. And we're probably going to curve it. It will dig. It probably will dig. But yeah, like I said, we're going to take it over to the bench grinder. And we're going to kind of give it a little bit of a cleaner curve and probably a little bit of a blade as well. Did I find any treasures this weekend? I found a lot of treasures. Unfortunately, I didn't buy any treasures. So there were a few things that I really, really wanted to buy, but I didn't want to buy them until we were streaming so I could share the experience of buying stuff with you guys. And so a lot of the stuff that I wanted that I could afford had already been sold by the time we started streaming. So it's kind of that catch-22 where I wanted you guys to be there to help me shop. But I also, you know, knew that some of the stuff might not still be there, if that makes sense. So, yeah. I did leave with a treasure. I did leave with a treasure. So, when we were streaming, we ran across a guy who was making flint strikers. So, this is a flint striker. And this is a flint, a rock, right? And he taught me how to use a flint striker. So let's see if I can manage this. Woo! There was a little one. There's a tiny, oh, look at that. So he taught me how to use the flint striker, and so we've been kind of like playing with that a little bit, getting a little bit of, you know, sparks here and there. So earlier, before I started the forge, I was like, let's see if I can't use the flint with some of this tinder that's in this box, and we'll see if we can't get it started there. I couldn't aim the sparks very well, and so unfortunately we used our, what'd I do with the top? I used our torch still to light it, but I think that we're gonna start our stream trying to be able to get better at aiming the sparks in this. So for the next few streams, we're gonna try it. Unless I can't find the lid. Where is the lid? What'd I do with it? I do not know. It's probably on the ground somewhere, and I'm gonna step on it, and then I'm gonna be very upset with myself. Where did I put it? Is it under here? No. I don't know what I did with it, guys. I lost it. So we did leave with a treasure, but, you know, I thought you put it on the anvil. I thought I put it on the anvil too. What'd I do? What happened to it? Is it hanging? Okay, no, it's not there. I thought I put it on the anvil, so I have no idea what I did with it. It disappeared. It magicked away. We'll find it eventually. We'll find it eventually. Or maybe we won't. I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. I thought I put it on the thingy, but maybe I didn't. Is it in my pocket? Have to watch the VOD later. Exactly what I do with it. Somebody's gonna make me a clip of it or something. All right, let's see. Okay. I need to move the camera. But before I move the camera, I kind of want to figure out how I want to go about this. Do I want to use the broken plate, or do I want to pull out? Well, if I do that, then let's see if we can do this. You put the lid on the bottom of the box. Oh my gosh! Thanks, Blue Red. Whatever would I do without you guys? Goodness gracious. All right. Oh. I'm going to pull out the swage block. All right. Do I have anything really, really sturdy? Let's see how sturdy this is. Probably not sturdy enough. Nope. Definitely not sturdy enough. So this is a swage block. And it has a whole bunch of holes in it. And you guys have seen me use it before. We used it to dome out our jingle bells. We used it to dome out our ladle. We used it to start our pauldron. So you've seen this before. This is a great way to kind of curve things out. But the best way to do it is actually to pull this out of the stand and tip it up on one of its sides. I have a nice round right here on this edge. Well, unfortunately, it's stuck in here, and I'm going to have to get the butler to help me get it out. Also, we're going to want to use it in the flat for making rivet heads. So, I don't know. We'll see what we can do with it. And so I think I'm going to change the angle of the camera so that we're a little bit, I think we're probably going to use this section, the broken section of my anvil. I think that's what we're going to use to curve it a little bit. So maybe I didn't want to pull out my swage block just yet, but I think in case I want to use a swage block, I also want that like handy. Because I might come up with some random way to do it. Goodness gracious. All right, so let's do that, and then let's do that. Alrighty, guys. All right. So it's starting to curve. It's going to take us a couple heats to do this, I think. Also, I think I want to change hammers, so we're using a cross peen as opposed to the rounding hammer. I think that's probably going to help us a lot. Okie doke. Super sweaty. We got a nice start with the broken corner of my anvil. So not bad. I think it's just gonna take us a couple heats. We're definitely going to, I want it a little bit more curved to it. We're also gonna have to flip it around so that I can get the back curved a little bit as well. Okay. I'll put that away. All right, let's do another heat. This and that. All right, not bad. So we're gonna flip this around. And do a little bit on that side as well. I don't want to do too much curving on that side until it's riveted on there. But I do want to get a little bit of a curvature on there so that we can kind of, you know, have it there and not have it, you know, not have to put it in or start up the big forge again. We might end up anyway, as much as I want to have only one change, I think we might get two. Forge change is what I'm trying to say. All right. How long we got? We have been streaming for how many minutes? An hour and a half. Oh, we better get this done. We better get this done, guys. So we might be streaming a little bit long. We got about an hour left, so I think we're gonna do all right. We've already got all of our holes punched, so basically all we have to do is a little bit of stuff with the mailbox, and I think we should be fine doing that. Or I think we'll be all right. I think I'm gonna move this a little bit though. So we'll put that there. So I have a little bit more space and I can get a little bit closer here. Because I don't think we're gonna end up using it right away. All right. I think we're ready. I think we're ready. Let's do this. All right, we got a nice curve to that. We might do a little bit more curvature a little bit later. I think we probably will. But I think that's all right for the moment. So you can kind of see it down like so. Not too bad. All right, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave that there for now. We're gonna hang up ourselves on the post vise because that's what we do around here. So I think the next thing that we're gonna do, start working a little bit more on the handle. Does it go like this? How does the trowel go, guys? I think it's like this, right? This way? Or is it this way? A or B? I think it's A. So, I'm going to turn off the big forge and we're going to turn on the mailbox. Okay. I had it like 12 seconds ago. No, not more like an hour and a half ago is where I had it. Where is my wrench? Ah, it's right here. Most handles on the top side, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I figured that. Oh, the handles are on the top side? Ow. This one is built stout. It is built stout. So are we saying that it's like this? So I think that we need a little bit more of a curve on this anyway, right? So we'll kind of, I don't know, we'll figure it out. How it feels a little bit better. So I think what we need to do is we need to bring it up a little bit and then like so. So it's a little bit more of an S maybe. But regardless, it's going to be a heavy thing. And I think it's going to be sturdy anyway. Okay. Let's switch our regulators. Oh, come on. Please don't tell me I accidentally did stupid things. All right, let's change our regulators. All right. Okay, we're good on that front. Let's stick that in there so it doesn't get all screwy. And we're going to start up the mailbox. Aha. Just looking at Google Images, most are either stamped in one piece or have a little tack weld holding it together. All flimsy. Okay. I mean, I was looking at some of the stuff at the hardware store when I was there, and those were mostly plastic. I didn't really see any metal trowels. So this one will be like super sturdy. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. It's only a little warm, so I think it looks pretty good overall. Definitely want to do a little bit of grinding on this guy so it's a little bit more of a smooth surface. And then I also think I want to do a little bit of a blade on the backside so you can really like dig into that dirt and kind of cut it up. At least yours won't bend the first rock it hits. I doubt it. I mean, I think it's about an eighth of an inch thick, so I doubt it will bend. It's pretty heavy. So I think what we're gonna do, like I said, is we're gonna round out the tail and kind of give ourselves a loop so we can hang it. Because I think it's gonna be way too long to put the wood handle on it like I wanted to. So we're gonna get a few more blisters than I originally wanted or anticipated. But I think it'll be all right. Okay. So we're gonna do one heat with this camera angle, and then we'll move the camera again, and then we'll do another few heats, however many it takes us to do this. Let's try it out. See how well it goes. Little bit of forging, make it a tiny bit skinnier. It'll make it a lot easier to bend it later. Not too bad. We do have a little bit of a cold shunt right there. Shut, however you want to. So we might. I think it'll be all right though. Okay. Change the camera angle again. I think we're gonna go over here at first. All right, so for the next one, we're going to get rid of all those corners, round out our the little rat tail so that we can make a nice smooth loop. Once we've made that loop, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to rivet the two pieces together. So I've got, maybe that's what I dropped. I have a piece of steel. It's right here. This piece of steel, we're going to cut off a couple pieces so that we can turn those into rivets. We'll heat them up, and then we will create heads and put everything together. All right, we do have an ad starting in a couple minutes, or a minute and a half-ish. So I think I'm going to wait until that ad is over before because I think it's going to take me longer than a minute to do this next heat. So I think that's what we're going to be doing. Whew. I was going to need to expand that hole anyway, I think. Going to cut 2 rivets out of this guy. Give us enough material to kind of give a nice head on either side too. Super sweaty right now. It's all right. I got a shower. I can take a cold shower. We're good on that. All right. So we've got about a minute left of the ad. So once that's up, we will take the corners off and round out the piece. Then we will heat it up one more time and we'll make ourselves a loop. So I think we're going to take this guy, stick it over here. Or maybe we won't stick it over there. Maybe we'll stick it over there temporarily so that way we can like put this on here and cut off the excess material for that loop so that we don't end up having to wrap it. I don't really want to wrap it all the way around. Maybe once, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much material we have at the end. But yeah, then we're going to rivet it all together. After this, or after we put this loop in there, we're gonna rivet it all together after this loop. Okay, let's do this. Rivet. I'm super excited. Everybody loves rivets. Everybody loves rivets. Except for me. I hate rivets. I'm not very good at them. I don't like them. But you know what? Everybody else loves rivets. I think it's going to take us at least one more heat to kind of round out this rat tail. So we're gonna do that. All right. We're getting real close. Mostly we've got this loop to go, and then we've got to do some rivets. I think the rivets will go relatively quickly. I think we can do each rivet in one heat. But yeah. Oh, thank you so much for that follow, Mr. Kajia, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. Welcome, welcome. We're having fun here making a trowel. We've got our trowel blade. It's a pretty hefty one. We're gonna rivet the blade onto the handle. Greetings from a Japanese blacksmith. Wow. I don't think I've ever met any Japanese blacksmiths. I don't think we've had any Japanese people with or watching the stream. So welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're glad you're here. We've got a lot of Europeans, some Australians, a lot of US or people from the US. Your accent is great. Nice work. All right. Let's do another heat. All right, I think that's about enough material for this loop. And we'll need to cut off the end eventually, but I think I'm gonna curve it before I do that. All right, so for the next heat, we are going to make a loop. Loop-a-loop. All right. I know I had it. It was on the ground. I saw it. Here it is. Cone mandrel. So this is a cone mandrel that we got at the IBA conference last year. So right now I've got the horizontal horn of the anvil. We also have a cone mandrel in case we want to get into different spaces. And then we also have our hot cut setup so that we can get rid of the excess material that we're not going to use for this loop. So if we need to use the hot cut, we are going to pull it off of the post vise and replace the cone with it. That way you guys can still see what's going on. And, okay, I think we're gonna go like so. Oh wait, I need to change the angle of the camera so you guys can see both the horn and the mandrel. Let's see if I can get as much in focus as possible and never, or like the center of the anvil is going to be the most in focus, but you should be able to see what I'm doing on both the cone and the horn. If not, it might be a smidge out of focus. Fuzzy. Okay. Let's try this, guys. Let's try this. Oh, but first I'm gonna get a drink because I'm super thirsty. Let's try it, but we'll try this. All right. And I'll put that there. Oh, you know what? It helps when your tongs aren't spinning around. You know what? This is going to take us another heat. Apologies. But we've got a good start there. I just got to get a little bit more control over it. We've got a nice start, though. Control. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Summer, and it's just getting started, guys. It's just getting started. I'm super excited about the summer. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be hot here, but you know what? Everywhere else, I'm going to be super excited and super grateful that it is summer. I get to go for hikes. I get to go and do some archery. We're planning on doing some camping this summer. I'm super excited. And you know what? Heat's heat. It happens. This is like my favorite season, summer. I get really, really cold in the winter and I get miserable. But, you know, if I have to choose between extreme heat and extreme cold, I pick extreme heat every time. All right. Let's do another heat. Same. See, I feel like if you are a blacksmith, you almost have to pick extreme heat, you know? Let's see. Or maybe I'll change my tongs real fast. Let's use these guys. Ow. Let's not squish our fingers with these guys. Okay, that should work really well. Not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. So we are going to be cutting it right around there. And it's a little bit too wide, but I think that'll be all right. We will heat that up one more time, I think, if I can fit it in here. Well, you know what? We might end up resorting to the angle grinder. Maybe. We'll see if we can heat that up. Puppies, thank you so much for those bits. Yay, biddies. Thank you so much for your support. Put that in there like so. See if we can't heat that up a little bit. What else do I need to do next? Oh, yes, we're riveting soon. We're riveting soon. So, once we're done with this, we're kind of going to line up the blade with the handle, and we're going to decide how long we want our rivets to be. We want both rivets to be equal length, and we need at least 3/4 of the diameter on either side of the rivet so that we can form the head. Okay, looks like we're doing all right with this. Okay. Let's do our next heat. We are going to use the angle grinder on the rivets because it's going to make them a lot cleaner. All right, let's do one more heat on that just to shape it a little bit nicer. It's a little bit oblong. Getting there, almost done. All right. It's gonna be real nice. Normally, I have to draw down my rivets, but it just so happened that the bar that we were using for chain links earlier this month is the exact same size, or not, I guess, not the exact same size, but it is close enough to the size that we need for this rivet. So I'm super excited about that. It'll be a lot nicer than if I were to have made it myself. All right. Whoops, I want to do that because we're going to be on the horn. Not bad. It looks pretty darn centered to me. All right, not too bad. Okay. I am quenching that off. So that we can kind of handle it. Get it? It's a handle. And we're handling it. And we're also handling it. See, we're handling it. Okay, that's actually pretty decent. It's a little on the hot side, still a little warm. The loop actually gives me a little bit of extra length, and it sits in the hand pretty nicely. So it's going to end up being more like so, if that makes sense. So, so I keep saying the same words over and over, right, guys? Okay. So that, and then that. So I want extra meat. So what I'm kind of doing is I am trying to decide how long I need these rivets to be. So I think thereabouts here will be long enough. And we're kind of eyeballing this a bit. Oh, come on, where'd it go? They're nice and lined up. Why are they? Okay. Yeah, that should be plenty of material. So we are going to cut 2 rivets on the post vise the same length. Although we could just use the chop saw. We're going to use the angle grinder because that way you guys can see it a little easier. And And we are going to put this trowel together like so. So it'll look like that when all is said and done. I think that's actually pretty decent. It's gonna look nice. All right. I need to change the angle on the camera so that you guys can see me cutting these rivets. Rivet, rivet. Alrighty. Hit that guy. And we'll hit that guy. And next. Oh, dropping things again. Alright, let's do this. All right, we now have 2 rivets. Oh, I was trying to do that, not that, but that's all right. So the next thing that we need to do is these. And where did my rivet go? It's on the ground. Oh, it's right there. Okay. I'm going to move this guy right here because I have a rivet header right there. And we're going to use that for our rivets. Hot. Oh my goodness, hot. Not too hot, not like burning hot or anything, but just hot enough that it's uncomfy. So I am practicing putting these in. So we can do this all right. So like so, and we're gonna hammer that together. It's gonna be nice. Hopefully we can get it all up out of here. Put that one there. Okay. Pinchy. All right. I know the camera is in view, but I think it'll be all right. It is all right, I think. Okay. We're going to change hammers to a ball peen hammer. It's going to make it a lot easier to spread out the material. For this rivet. Second rivet. Okay. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to do this. Are you guys ready? I think I'm ready. I hope you guys are now ready. And I think I'm going to put that right there. Are you recording? You are not recording. I didn't hit the record function apparently. There we go. I don't want to miss my rivet. You know what? Let's use these. These will be easier to play with. Much more precise. Ready to go. All right. Not the best way of doing this. See if I can do it a little bit easier this way. Yeah. It's a little wobblier than I wanted it to be, but I think we'll be all right. I think what we're going to do is we are going to heat up the other and we will tighten that up. I want it to be a little bit loose, not that loose, but I want to make it a little bit loose enough so that we can drop the other rivet in there really nice and easy and create our second rivet. So we're going to do that real fast, and then we will continue working on that rivet as well. So we're getting there. We just need to do a little bit more riveting there. It's fine that it's cold. It's going to make it a lot easier if it is hot, but we can make this rivet happen whether it's cold or hot. I don't have anything to drink right now. I'm going to go grab something to drink because I am super thirsty. I will be right back. All right. It would have been a lot easier if I did not curve that trowel until after I had riveted this together. I'm starting to realize that. But it's all right. I think we'll get it. I think we'll get it. It is definitely going to stick together. It's just like really, you know, loopy-doo. So we'll have to be a little bit careful when we do this. I may have actually done this backwards. So I guess we're just going to heat up the handle, and we're going to bend the trowel the way it needs to be bent to make it easier to use. We're also probably going to take that time to kind of make sure that we've tightened the rivets nicely. We've got about 20 minutes left, 25 minutes. We will have it finished by then, I hope. I think. Starting to get a little bit tired. I think it's the heat. But yeah, we will finish this trowel today, or at least finish forging it. We'll need to clean it up, and I'll probably do that this weekend so I can make sure it's nice and cleaned up. We'll run it over with the wire wheel. We will grind off so that it's nice, or grind the blades so it's nice and pretty. And then I will also shoot video footage of me digging up our garlic, because our garlic is ready to be pulled, I believe. So I'm super excited about that too. All right, guys, we are back. Let's do our next rivet. That, I think. Is that what I want? Yes, it is. I guess that's what I want. Okay, so you can see them. They're starting to develop there. So the next thing that we're going to do is probably actually come over to the horn, and we're going to probably use the horn to kind of finish those off. So I'm going to put this in the mailbox if I can manage to put it in there. Is it going to let me? Keys? No, it's not going to let me. It's a little bit too wide. Okay, so definitely want to spend a little bit of time over on the horn of the anvil, because I think that's going to give us a good backing, because it's nice and, or like, we've already got our rounded section done. So I think it'll give us a good backing. So we're going to probably go like so and hammer that direction. Because I don't think that we can, maybe, you know what? Never mind. We're going to do this right, guys. We're going to do this right. I am going to turn off the mailbox. We are going to turn on the big forge, and we're going to do it that way, because that's the right way to do it, and I don't want to screw this up. So we are going to switch forges again. because it's the right way to go about this. And I want to do this correctly. It's still relatively warm from earlier, so it's not going to take nearly as long to heat up our piece. Well, it's tight enough that it didn't fall apart there, so that's good. We're going to put this in the Big Forge. We're going to heat up those rivets. We're going to make this work. And I'm not going to make any shortcuts. Have you thought about putting a 2-port manifold on the gas line so you can run either forge with one tank fitting? I have. However, I think it would be better to have a 2-point manifold that is male so that I can run 2 tanks for 1 forge. So I'm not entirely sure if I'd be able to, I don't know. I wonder if I can do either forge with 2 tanks. I don't know. Either way, you know, it'd be neat to be able to swap the tanks a lot quicker. Yeah, that could work too. Uh-huh. It would work a lot easier because, or if I had a double manifold, that would allow me to use 2 tanks too, because it's like, then I'd be able to like, or it wouldn't freeze up as quickly. All right, so I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about this, because I want you to be able to see both the horn and, all right, so I think I need to push back a little bit further, like so. Man, I wish I could do double focus so that you could see both the horn and the swage block, because I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of back and forth on this. Is that in the way now? No, it's not. Okay, cool. And while you're at the plumbing, you could upgrade the big forge with more burners. Mo power. I know, man. I know. The big forge does need at least one burner, probably two, if I want to run it correctly. Okay. Let's see about this, guys. Let's see about this. All right. I'm gonna try it. It might take me a couple of heats to like make this work, but I think we'll be all right. All right, we're gonna do one more heat, see what we can do with that. I think we're pretty darn close. Oh, that's what that is. I touched my, I hope it didn't pop any because I just touched my, my lab. With all the extra valves and fittings, it looked like a steam pump machine. It would, man, it would. It'd be so cool. So cool. All right, we're getting real close to being able to do our next heat to kind of tighten up those rivets a little bit. Make them look really nice. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it, let's do it. If I can get the piece out of the forge, guys, if I can get the piece out of the forge. Alrighty. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Alright. So I think we're pretty good. It doesn't look like it's shaky anymore. And yeah, all right, we're gonna quench this off. All right. Well, you know, the backside's still a little on the, it's not burny, it's just a little uncomfortable. There we go, that's a lot better. That is a trowel. We're gonna have to do a little bit of bending on here, but I think I'm gonna save that for the cleanup stage, but this is the trowel. So far, this is the trowel. Like I said, I want to bend this up a little bit and then give it a little bit of a curve, but I think overall, give it a little bit of ergonomics, and I think we're pretty good. Pretty darn good. The rivets tightened up nicely. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. All right. Not bad, not bad. True weapon versus dirt, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I think we're going to end the stream now that we've got a fully functional trowel. Heck yes. So I will see you guys on Friday, and we will be starting a new project. It's going to be a set of wolf jaw tongs. So I hope to see you there. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a good Thursday. All right. Whew. It is warm, warm. Thanks for the stream. It was very entertaining as always. Thank you so much. Good job, Ray. See you later. Later, guys. Let's see who we got to raid off to today. Ooh, Miramac Mud. Let's raid them. Still making pottery for the restaurant build out. Righty. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see you on Friday. Bye!